What advice would you give to someone who may benefit from training less? Any good ways to assess this? Training less. Training less. There's many ways you can approach this, right? You could be talking about training less frequent, less volume per session. There's many different ways to do it. Let's say somebody like me, right? Maybe that's what you're kind of implying. I don't know. Somebody like me, I love frequency. I love to be able to get out here and do something every single day. So you could say to yourself, okay, Van, instead of doing 4, 5, 6 different exercises every single day, why don't you do 2? That's training less. So you can come in here, instead of having 2-hour sessions every day or 90-minute sessions every day, say to yourself, every day I'm going to train for 30 to 45 minutes. That's it. And so break it up like that. You could do it that way. When would you want to do that? Well, that's entirely up to you, man. Like a lot of these things are individual. What might work for you might not work for somebody else. Like I keep saying to everyone, your training is not just about a physical expression. There's a lot of things going on. If you're watching this, you're probably not a professional athlete. You're just another regular guy in the world. And, you know, if you're watching this, you're probably not a world level, elite level lifter. So then you ask yourself, okay, what are my goals? What do I want to achieve in all of this? And then you start to ask some of these questions, and depending on the results of some of these questions, you might start to kind of figure things out for yourself. If goals are everything that you have in life and you just work and live for training, you might say, I need to train more frequency, 3 days a week, 3 times a day. The IFBB bodybuilders did that as well. They trained 3 times a day. Randall Coleman used to say he used to do an hour on the stairs, on the Stairmaster in the morning, have a training session in some part of the day, I'm not sure when, and then before sleep he would have another hour on the freaking Stairmaster. So that is 3 training sessions per day. So that is like IFBB pro bodybuilder, the greatest of all time, 8 Olympias, whatever he's got, 8 Olympias. And then there's me, who works at the hospital, has 3 kids, normal life. I'm trying to fit this in. I can't train 3 times a day. So then you start to kind of like wrestle with some of these different variables, and so hopefully you come to some conclusion. If you're implying that I'm training too much, it's probably not a case of training too much. It's probably under recovering. And under recovery, there's a whole host of different things you can look into why somebody might be under recovering. Sleep, nutrition are probably the biggest ones, and you go from there. Stress from work, places, whatever. The idea of you're doing too much work is very unlikely if you're a normal fellow like you and I. For 22 hours of the day, I'm not doing anything, any exertion. To say that 2 hours a day is too much exertion for somebody in his prime of his life, physical life, it is something that I'll never agree. I always say to everyone, if you think you've got it hard and you're such a tough ass, go look at some history and see what men used to do back in the day, working 18 hours a day, working on the fields all the time, blah, 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 blah. Nobody can convince me that that was easier than your 90-minute HIIT training session. It's so difficult. Nobody can convince me that. So I'm never going to buy that unless you're a professional athlete, unless you are a really high performance athlete. Most people that are watching this video, in fact, all the people that are watching this video, and most people that you know in your life fit into the box of you're probably not doing enough training. You are not that good. As I know, a lot of people like to think of themselves as this badass weapons and everyone's so tough. You are not. If you were so good, we would know you. You're probably somewhere, blah, blah, blah. So most of us are just regular Joes. And for regular Joes, I say do as much as you can, as much as you want to, you will be fine. And most of the time, when you start to overtrain, your body will tell you and you'll go to sleep and you have an easier session. Most of us don't fight through fatigue. Most of us don't fight through pains and so on and some of the rest of it. So I think a lot of us think we're doing too much because we have some story in our mind that we're so tough and we're so good. That is not the case. The vast majority of us are not doing enough work. And so for my case, I say to myself, I'm not doing enough compared to my ancestors who worked in the freaking mines for a million freaking years, you know, doing 16-hour days, that kind of stuff. That is hard work. That is a hard life. That is hard across all boards. I finished this hour and a half session. I'm going to go back inside the house, have a nice warm shower, have a big ass meal to eat, and then sit on a leather sofa with a perfectly air conditioned room and love and support from a family. Then we'll go to a warm bed. There's no stress. My friend, that is a very easy existence, and I'll never say that things are tough. You're not tough. You can probably train harder. But if you are an elite athlete and you're pushing the limits, your body will tell you, you will start to get aches and pains, you'll start to break down, you'll start to get, big plateaus despite this is your whole life and everything's going on. You got the best coaching, the best training, the best everything. Everything's going into this and you're not going making progress. You might be looking at your training too much. But for the vast majority of us, you are very, very safe from that problem.